Hi, so today I'm going to be talking about bullying in high schools and what are the best ways to stop bullying. When I started my new high school, I was new from a suburban town going to a school in the city. And I've always been a person that shows my expressions, my emotions on my face, and I used to be really shy. And I also never have been the smallest kid in class. I'm almost 6 feet tall, and I was always like that throughout my whole childhood. And I was bullied. I was made fun of because of my height. I was made fun of because of really anything that you could think of. People found ways to make fun of me. And it was something that I had to cope with. So, with schools handling bullying situations, it's more of what can be done to fix the issue, because a lot of the times children are afraid to speak up and say something because they think it's only going to make the problem worse. And if in some cases the action is the child gets expelled, sometimes that is what it has to be, or suspended, and sometimes it's not the case of let's just kick the student out of school. Sometimes it takes that time. You need to sit down, you need to talk to both sides, they need to talk it out, because sometimes it can be really simple things that one is mad at another for something really silly. But before I get into ways that I can do that, I just want to talk about my experience, because working in a daycare, I work with school age children, and they have their moments where they're super nice to each other, and then they have their moments where they can be super mean. And being an 8-year-old, 9-year-old, some of the things that they say to each other, I'm like, wow, I wouldn't even say that to my friends, and I'm almost 20. And it's just amazing and crazy to hear the things that they say and what little things they think is bullying and things like that. But as a teacher, that's my job, to teach them, like, this is bullying, this is not okay. Making fun of friends, or even if they're not your friends, this is not okay. And I see it every day, and I constantly am repeating myself over and over and over again, and sometimes I feel like I'm not getting to them. And even when the parents talk to you about it, they talk to them every day about you don't want to be mean to someone. If someone's making you angry or is being mean to you, just walk away. It never is okay to make the situation worse. So I'm here to tell you or persuade you on what other ways can bullying be handled rather than just kicking the child out of school and getting them in trouble. My first point is that, again, a child may come up to you or may go to a guidance counselor or a teacher or the principal and say, so and so is bullying me and it's not getting any better. No matter what I do, I walk away, I don't encourage it, it's just getting worse. Now, as an educator, you're someone who is supposed to handle this. And in some cases, it is best to say, all right, listen, I'm going to sit down, talk to both of the kids, and they're going to talk it out. But sometimes in severe cases, you do have to expel or suspend the child, or not let them come back to wherever the situation is happening for a while. But that's not always the best way, because they're not gonna, of course their parents are gonna be mad, but they're not going to really fully possibly understand that the severity of it. And so I think by sitting down one by one and talking to one child that is doing the bullying and a child that's being bullied is one of the top ways to deal with the problem, because you're hearing both sides of the stories, and then you can bring them together and they can talk it out with you kind of mediating it, because again, you don't want the problem to get worse. And personally, that is something that happened to me, is I tried to speak up and the problem got worse. They called both of us down to the office. We talked about it, and then literally 20 minutes later, everybody knew. Everybody was calling me names because I was a crybaby or I was tattling, and it just defeated me. And so I had to learn how to get over that. Another thing that you can do as a school to stop bullying, I think, is making sure that you're listening to the students, making sure that you're not just passing by something and you're hearing the conversation and you're kind of just shoving it off of saying, oh, they'll deal with it, because sometimes it will escalate into something more serious where you have to take those serious steps of suspension, expulsion, sometimes calling the police. It depends on what it is. And I don't think that's a good way to handle it because of, again, the idea that the problem may get worse. And if the problem gets worse, the student that's being bullied, so many things can go through their heads, so many things can be told to them, and sometimes after a while, they will start to believe it. And you never want someone to feel like they're worthless or that they shouldn't be alive or shouldn't be on this planet. In schools, this is where the most part of this happens. Yes, things happen on the internet, but the people that are on the internet also are in these kids' schools and also are taking time out of their day to bug them. So the best way for schools is to sit down, talk one-on-one, and then talk together. And if the problem doesn't get better, then you need to go on to the next steps of, why is this happening? What can I do to teach that child that it's not okay to be bullying, that it's not okay to make fun of people, it's not okay to physically or verbally attack someone. And by doing that, I believe sitting down and talking about it and constantly checking in on the situation is the best way to make sure that it's not getting worse, but it's getting better. Thank you.